Ask Reddit. How do we get rid of the tipping culture in America? Nothing short of federal legislation will make a difference. Servers don't want it to go away, especially at higher-end places. You can make a lot of money on tips. It's not the server tipping culture I want to change. They seem to prefer it. It's the fact that I'm prompted to leave a tip after pouring myself a cup of coffee out of the airpod at the cafe across the street. Or how I'm prompted to leave a tip before receiving the service, like when I tip DoorDash or Uber Eats 20% so they can just leave my food at some random address. That is the kind of tipping that needs to die off. Give cows comfy beds so they don't sleep standing up. You'd have to get the servers on board, and honestly, good luck with that. Most any place more upscale than a Waffle House, servers make pretty good money. They like the model the way it is. Edit. Some of you are real pieces of work, you know that? Escaping the tipping culture in America is like trying to unmix a cocktail. One way could be pushing for fair wages for service industry workers, so tipping becomes more of a gesture of appreciation rather than a necessity. It's a cultural shift that needs both patrons and businesses to shake things up. Pay a decent basic salary, but you'll find those who get tipped better than others don't want it to change. Simple. Don't play. And I don't mean not eating out. Do not tip for services that do not demand a tip. Do not tip at a kiosk that is asking for a tip before service is rendered. Just hit zero. You don't. The overwhelming majority of servers make way more money with tips than the restaurants would ever pay them in wages. I started in a cheap corporate restaurant 10 years ago and I was making $20 to $25 an hour after taxes. Don't tip unless you have a dedicated server and only after service has been provided. Tipping ahead of service is literally just paying more for the same product and goes against the reason for tipping in the first place. Tipping is meant to show appreciation for exceptional service, which can only be judged once service is complete. When they spin the iPad around, just stop tipping, I guess. You have all the power. I hate the tipping culture. I get tipping at sit-down restaurants. But I order a bottled water at Starbucks, and I tip for that? I pick up takeout and am asked to tip? I still do to help the workers, but I'd rather just pay a flat price. Stop going to places that require tips. This is the only way employers will change. By refusing to patronize restaurants that pay their servers a tipped wage. Federally mandated minimum wage and advisory that tipping is service-based. Right now it's used to prop up servers' wages. Servers need to be paid proper wages. You don't. Short of government intervention, it will never happen. Servers depend on it and restaurants will never pay and people won't pay the cost. Pay staff enough of a wage that tips are literally just tips and not a means to pay rent? Thanks to tips, I average $35 minus $40 an hour delivering pizza for Domino's. $35 an hour is pretty good for unskilled labor. It would require some collective action, and that might involve the government. You stiffing one very low-wage worker doesn't solve anything. Stop tipping. That's the easiest and most effective, I think. If no one tips, there's no tipping culture anymore. I have the answer. Someone posted on another thread a receipt from a restaurant that gets rid of tips and shows that they actually pay staff well and provide benefits, so no one feels bad not tipping. The more restaurants that do this, the more accepted and desired it will become. People hate tipping anyway. Give them an option not to and they'll take it. Shift the responsibility back to the restaurant owners. Thanks for tuning in. Share your story or response in the comments. I'll be reading them all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. See you next time.